Hey, we're here with Patrick Hill from GovCon Leaders Circle. Welcome, Patrick.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, we've got a big, fun series in front of us, and I wanted to give everybody at home an idea of what we're doing. Patrick, what's the goal with GovCon Leaders Circle? Why are we doing this?
I think we're doing this because we've seen so many events out there that can be very broad, more general. And I think from our perspective, we wanted to create something that was more of a curated environment, right? Where we could be more intentional with conversations, have more candor with a closed room forum. And, we started this about 18 months ago, I think simply with the goal of just seeing where it could go. And what we've learned is that people crave really good information. They crave it from verified and thoughtful vendors, and they want to hear it in a closed room forum where they can then share that best practices with other people in the same room. And it's really grown into something where we've expanded from CFOs to human resources to operations, contracts and pricing, controllers. And, quite frankly, I think from our perspective, it's really helped to elevate the conversation across the industry. And we've been able to break down the silos of finance talking to finance, HR talking to HR, and really help to unpack the full ecosystem of the business with each roundtable that we have.
Excellent. Yeah. What is different between this and other events? Why is this special?
Yeah, and I somewhat alluded it to in the opening, but I think it's more intentional in the fact that we keep it more intimate, right? We're not looking to reach 100 people for an event. We're not looking to invite everyone into the ecosystem, into this environment. We want to keep it very intentional with one or two partners that we feel do very, very good work within the industry. And we also want to keep it with partners that we feel elevate that conversation. So keeping it more focused, keeping it more dialed in, but also we think that we invite the right room into each event that we have, and we want to be intentional with who's there.
Makes sense. Yeah, it does feel like everybody gets, you go to those events where there's 10 service providers and two of the folks that you actually are excited to speak with.
And what I would say to that is there are dozens, dozens of events a week. And I think we're fortunate in DC to be blessed with having so many great opportunities to network, opportunities to go to events and meet other people. But the reality is, people want to be in a room where they feel that they can open up and have true conversations and not feel that they need to keep something close to the chest.
Right.
That's really where we try to set that bar and elevate the conversation and not have this be a networking forum, but really have it be a peer-to-peer environment where people can share ideas, be more open, and not feel compelled to keep their opinions, their thoughts close to the chest, or feel that they're in an environment where it's heavily sales approached.
Sure. Yeah. And then you've got the other ones that are like, hey, come with us for 8 hours on an adventure. And that seems like a little bit of a lifetime commitment.
We try to be focused. 2 hours, have a few drinks, have a few appetizers, come listen to a great speaker, but also be willing to share what's working for you. Maybe be vulnerable and share what might not be working, where you can lean on someone else in the room to talk about an idea or some strategy.
Right.
Yeah, I think we have in our environment a number of organizations that are, competitive in the lines of business that they support, or the agencies they support. But we've always had a viewpoint that a rising tide lifts all the ships. And the more that you can share ideas and best practices, it's going to be an environment where people can take something back to their own organizations.
Yeah. Well, on that, what are some things someone who's a guest might learn from one of these?
It depends. I mean, I think it depends on the attendees that we're reaching out to. I think it depends on who we have come in to speak. For example, we just recently did our CFO one last month, and the conversation was on CMMC and the certification levels. We had a great accounting firm come in and talk about that. And I think what was really beneficial to the audience and everyone in the room, including ourselves, was that it took a life of its own on when we had the CFO start talking about what they're specifically doing with their organizations, asking questions to each other. And I think what people can really expect when they come to a GovCon Leader Circle roundtable is simply just that. It's open conversation, it's honest conversation, strong dialogue. It's moderated, right, where we have a really strong expert like what who we had back in January to help guide and share some insights into what they're seeing. And, our goal is to always have a conversation going on something that maybe is happening in market that no one else is really talking about. And everyone's talking about CMMC, right? But there's a lot of other areas within it that
Yeah.
haven't been addressed, or there might be some misunderstandings. And we challenge every sponsor that comes in to simply talk about something they're seeing in market that no one else might be addressing that we feel that should be shared.
I'm thinking from that same discussion, option year pricing was
Yeah.
an interesting one. From the one most recently, kind of the value add of different folks and that war room discussion to try to win work.
Yeah.
Great. Excellent. Yeah. Anything else you want to share? It's exciting. We are welcoming a lot of different folks from different backgrounds and excited to meet folks. Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I think when we initially started, and I shared this earlier, we wanted to do one and see how it would go, right? And I think from our perspective, we're like, this will be a great opportunity to get in front of people we want to do more business with. But we quickly have learned that it's about elevating the market, it's about elevating the industry, it's about learning more about the ecosystem of government contracting. It's a really complex environment, right? And, I sit in a benefits lane or an insurance lane, right? You sit in a recruiting lane. James, our third partner, sits in the payroll lane. But what we've come to learn is that everything we do doesn't operate in a silo, right? And I think the best part about what we do at Leader Circle is we have a CFO event. We want to be intentional, then to have an HR event. We want to be intentional, then to have a contracts event. And we really want to get into the ecosystem of the organization, have everyone that drives the boat forward in government contracting have the opportunity to have a seat at the table and be in one of these conversations. And, we balance that content with a lot of fun, right? We have some great opportunities for people to do fun things that can build some camaraderie, build some additional networking, whether it's golf, right? Or Top Golf or an XCal event, whatever it might be, and then bringing everyone together for some of these socials. I just love the cross pollination of ideas of professionals. And I think when we walk out of the room, we obviously learn something too. But the hope is that we can bring more value to our partners and to our clients, to our prospective clients, than just simply what we do in our lane. I think that's where we truly add value. And again, if you haven't been to an event, we hope you come. We have a lot of people who join us and then come back for more. And that's the best compliment that we can get, is having repeat attendees.
That and I just got an email the other day after our most recent event, and this is ideal. I won't name the person specifically, but they put me and four people from their organization on the email and said, "Hey, that was an amazing event. I'd like you to invite these four people introducing such and such." And from there, some of them are joining the upcoming one. But yeah,
That's great.
it's great. It's great. Good. All right. Well, thank you, and we'll be back in touch.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Billy.